Hey, everybody. This interview with Matt Dunford is from all the way back in April 8th, as a matter of fact. And I didn't really mean to hang on to it this long. It's just life got in the way. But what I think is really interesting about it and why maybe now is a good time to release it is that we're coming up onto what would have kind of been con season. I know San Diego Comic Con and everything, and they're still doing Comic Con at home, which we're really happy about. But quarantine and so many life events that have been happening in our world have really changed the way that we interact with each other and the way that we get to meet up and talk to one another. And I think that this is really at the very beginning of it. We had just finished doing Comic Fest, and this was really us just getting used to the upheaval that had just started in our lives. And this series was something that I really wanted to try and do as a regular thing for the U Mind, where we did the U Mind tea parties, just sort of an informal interview with tea and fancy hats, where we just got together and sort of socialized like people would have done back in the day. And I'd really like to open it up to anybody out there who just wants to chit chat with me and Old Scratch when he's available. Yeah, is sometimes these are some of the most productive interviews where you just sit down and just let your thoughts fly. So, anyway, please enjoy this interview with Matt Dunford.
The following podcast is a presentation of Project Entertainment Network.
Don't be scared now, but it looks like you just wandered straight into U-Mind country. That's U-Mind, short for unaffiliated mind games, and you ain't never gonna be the same again. Brace yourself. It's time for a red-hot truth injection. Oh yeah! That's right, bitch. We're rounding up the sheeple and shaking them awake. U-Mind, too damn bad. We're gonna set fire to the wool over your eyes. Feel the burn, baby. Hot damn. We're toppling the lies of the lamestream media one by one. Woo-wee. Watch them bad boys fall. Hey, Universe A. This is Universe B calling, and we're gonna tear you a new one. You mind?
Thank you for joining us. Okay, everybody, so we are here for our second You Mind Tea Party with Matt Dunford. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm back again in quarantine. Yeah, so I'm just been a homebody, and it's like, the sun has finally come out today. Well,
Oh,
you can't
wow.
really see too much glare coming out of things. But I'm back, and I'm alive, and I've got this new hobo beard, so it's a little bit like an old Scratch, but,
Yeah.
I'm a thing.
Yes. He also has a hobo beard, proudly sporting it.
Well, if I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, if you're not going anywhere, you may as well. So, it's...
Yeah, so that's why I've got the disheveled life about me, but, I do try to bathe every now and then.
Yes, it's good. It's you got to remind yourself to do that sometimes. I get into...
Well, it's okay. I never leave the house without showering, but
Yeah.
these days I never leave the house, so...
Right, yeah. No, I hear you. So, I'll get that way. Like, normally I'm not that way, but if I'm, like, working on a big painting or something like that, I'll get that way, where I'll like, oh, I probably should bathe. It's been 2 or 3 days. So, yeah. But, which is probably not great.
Yeah, but it's been, some interesting couple of weeks now. Just, everything that I've been doing is just like, finally cleaning up the house and organizing my books. And it's been pretty cool just to get everything back in order again. Because I realized that I have so much stuff and I live like a hoarder. So going from hoarder to order is weird, but I'm, it's what I do.
Yeah. We haven't been very good at organizing around here, unfortunately, because I do sculpting, I do painting, I do digital art. So there's always like something going on. And yeah, eventually looking to have a separate room where art happens so that it doesn't like overflow everywhere else. So
Yeah, truly, like last night was the first time in years where I realized after cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, I no longer have any books laying around the house.
Oh, wow. Nice.
That's kind of insane. Because I am just like the book hoarder, and now I got this bookshelf all done up with my toys and whatnot, and so just got everything organized, and so it's looking lovely. And I got another bookshelf over there, and I cleaned it up so much I actually have extra space now. And then I pushed another bookshelf into the corner over there and got it all organized, and so it's actually pleasing to look at. Now, if only now I actually have the time to sit and read, but my mind goes a bazillion places at once, so it's hard for me to just sit and read. And but at least it's organized for the occasion.
Yes, and it looks like you have all of your shades set up beautifully. Wow.
Yep, I got all my sunglasses organized on shelves up there now too. So for the every now and then when I choose to go outside when it's a nice bright sunny day, but I don't have that choice for the moment.
Yeah, that's kind of upsetting.
As the non-essential person.
Oh, yes. Now, you're working from home because there's a lot of idle hands that need to be, made into devil's playthings. So he's basically doing that digitally right now, and you're not taking well to it. So for me, this is my life. I work at night. I never see people. In fact, when I see people, it's kind of jarring for me. It's a terrifying experience, but I know that you are not fond.
I'm gonna get out and beat people and
you like going
tempt
out,
people, kind of person, hands-on
in person.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but it's good. So.
Yeah. So it is nice to. It's an adjustment to finally become a homebody because the old saying that if you're doing a geeky event and if Matt Dunford isn't there, then it's not worth going to. But now there's no events to go to and no place for me to be, and because everyone is just so used to me showing up everywhere, and now it's like I can't, or I'll give you cooties.
Yeah. Aww.
You were gonna get my cooties anyway, so I mean.
Are you naturally just the kind of person who always wants to go to events, or do you kind of have to bring yourself to it?
I wasn't initially, but then I kind of became it because I realized that if there's something going on, I'll miss out on it. I'll miss that story to tell. I'll miss that experience. I'll miss those people to see. And so, I became a kind of an I was an introverted person, who just wanted to stay in this room at first up until my early 20s. And then I realized, well, no, I got to get out there. I got to see these things. I got to meet these people because I'm missing the experience. And then that's when you started seeing me at everything in every single place in the universe. But then, that all went away, and now I'm back at home. And so, I realized I was going crazy. And so I got on my computer last night. I'm like, I haven't done it in a while. I haven't really played video games. Working in video games, you never want to play them. So I decided at midnight, I'm going to download an old favorite. I'm going to download my favorite military strategy game, Star Wars Rebellion. And then I kind of played that till 4 a.m. And then I was woke up and I was playing it. And then it's playing and playing and playing. And I was so hooked until the Skype call went off. Oh, it's 5 o'clock already. It's geez, that was my entire day. It's now I know how those Animal Crossing people feel.
Yeah. No. I haven't played Animal Crossing, but I hear it's good. So.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just wow, I'm living a life and organizing my home and all this, the stuff that you could be doing in real life, but in virtual form with annoying animal neighbors.
Well, that sounds fun. I mean, if people are entertaining themselves, I guess that's good. Oh, hi, that's us.
Okay, sorry, I accidentally pushed the share screen button, so it's
So I can't help but notice you don't have a fancy hat today. Is this an act of rebellion?
Hold on, let me go grab one. I totally forgot to wear a hat.
So
I got my Dr. Facilier hat here, which is kind of too big for my head because it keeps falling down, but it's fancy.
Well, if you did,
I'll wear
you
this
did your
on.
part. Oh,
there we go.
Very nice, very nice.
The Amish look.
Yes.
Or cowboy hat or whatever.
Yeah. Yes. Well,
I typically don't wear hats because I have really good hair and I have big ears. So.
Now, if the hat makes you uncomfortable, I don't want to force you.
Nah, it's okay. Keeps the sun out of my eyes.
Okay. That's
and it
good.
actually complements me well with this hobo beard. It makes me look a little more rugged, like a Western villain.
It does. It makes you, I like it. Very nice. So I'm noticing all these books here. Is there any series that you're particularly excited about right now?
What am I really liking these days? My favorite comic on the stands that you can pick up is Olympia
Mm-hmm.
by Image Comics. It's basically the story of this little 12-year-old boy living in Olympia, Washington, who reads about godlike superheroes that have battles on Mount Olympus. And one day he hears something in the woods, some kind of big crashing, and it's the hero of the story there, and he's been in a battle and he's been sent to the real world. And the kid's like, "Oh, you've been injured. We need to heal you. Here, this is that medicine that my mom likes. It should help you." It's like, "Ugh, what do you call this, young man? I feel reinvigorated. Vicodin? Ugh, I think I should have another half a bottle more." And it's just, and then he says, "But how can you exist in the real world?" And he goes on a quest. This kid goes on a quest to meet the cartoonist of the comic, who is having some problems in life because that comic, of course, has seen better days. It's not selling well, and people are telling him to get a real job and get out of doing comics. And so the guy is, kind of like the suicidal alcoholic till the knock on the door, and there's the kid that shows up with his creation, and like all ridiculousness breaks loose. It's very much like it feels like the Goonies. It's really, really good, and I dig it. It's very entertaining. It's very fun, and I can't recommend Olympia enough.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So
Yeah,
I guess the one that I'm reading right now, well, rereading, is Beauty. Have you read that?
I have not read Beauty yet.
Yeah, it was relevant to what's going on currently. Yeah, it's about an illness that basically encourages you to spread it to others by making you extremely attractive. So it allows you to, yes, which Matt is clearly infected with. So
Oh yeah. Oh dang! And it's like maybe I should have washed my hands or kept my hands off my face.
yeah, yeah, you got to keep the hands away from the face. Yes, but
I
how
know.
can you when you're so silky soft?
Yeah, because I kind of just shaved the non-scuzzy areas. Well, the thing is, I shaved the scuzzy areas where it doesn't really grow in so
Ah,
thick, and so the whole thing is like it's just like too patchy up here. So, cleaning it up, but it's still silky smooth when I do. And I mean, my facial hair is good except for this one area right here where it's patchy. I
mm-hmm.
still need to wait to get long enough so I can like do the beard comb over
Right.
and not look so scuzzy. But of course, I still shave the neck because nobody likes a neck beard.
No, no, no. Well, the
Yeah.
Amish are pretty big into it, so they.
Yes, yes, 'tis a fine pool, English, but 'tis no hat.
It's true. That's true. So very cool. So I've noticed you made a couple posts about a series that has been getting a lot of buzz that I'm interested in, and I was telling you a little bit about it. The New Warriors.
Ah, yes, the
Yes.
new Warriors from Marvel.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, is this a joke? No.
I thought
Are
that
you sure
too.
it's
I
not?
thought,
And it's
yeah,
like, Snowflake, Safe Space, B negative, Trailblazer,
yeah,
and Screen Time.
yeah.
And Screen Time gets his powers from his grandfather's experimental internet gas.
Yes.
And it's like really Snowflake, Safe Space. I don't think I've heard those words since Trump won the election in 2016. It's like
Yeah.
it's pretty far reaching, and I'm all for diversity in comics, but this feels too much like shoehorning,
Oh yeah.
and it's just like just beating us into the ground with it, and like screen time. I just look at it and it's just like it just looks too lame to be true,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm going to be the first one lining up to buy it
Mm-hmm.
just because it is that ridiculous. And it's Marvel. It's like the whole thing. It was touted to me in like some kind of clickbait article where they said, "Okay, Marvel introduces their first non-binary character. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Safe space, really, really safe space." And like,
Yeah.
and the fact of like it's just
Mm.
I mean, I grew up as a very big New Warriors fan in the early 1990s. They were always there with Namorita and Night Thrasher and Speedball. They were
Yeah.
cool. They were like Marvel's take on the new Teen Titans, but this is like it's I don't think forced diversity is actually diversity, but it's just
No.
ridiculous enough to where it's like I go for weird stuff,
Hmm.
and the whole thing is even if people are trash talking it, it's still it's still a marketing tactic. People are talking about it,
Yeah.
and they could be not talking about it. And
Hmm.
so I don't know. It's like I'm all out there for some experimental internet gas. How the internet creates gas, it's like I don't know. Wi-Fi is more, radio signal, but
Yeah.
that's not how it works. And so, but the new warriors are there.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like an exciting piece. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking was it was going for that marketing style where it's just like forcing people to talk about it because it's a bit on the cute side. It just feels lazy to me, I guess. It feels, but I don't, I have a feeling that's not what it is. So,
Yeah, I mean, when you're going for a character with diversity, it's like you still want character. Is this
yeah.
person black and a jerk? Is this person gay and funny? It's like, you have to have like some qualities and build these characters from the ground up to have them have personality and traits that make them unique, not
Hmm.
just be defined by their, you know, diversity. Define them by who they are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and we've had a lot of great diverse characters in the Marvel universe pop up over the past decade. Kamala Khan, Miles Morales. Like it's like you do see, it's cool to see this representation there, but nobody wants to see their 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 criteria, their personality, their experience
Yeah.
shoehorned. They want it treated respectfully.
It's just a little bit single note. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, okay, that's good. They're a Latin X character, and but yeah, that I have to say, Trailblazer in that is my favorite because as
Yeah, I mean, there's different scenes where it's like, wait, is Trailblazer white in the scene or is Trailblazer brown skinned in this
mhm.
one? And so it's hard to like say. It's like, but it's like, okay, I'm Trailblazer. I'm a plus size Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, I did notice that with the skin tone, and at first I thought that they were actually going to address, like how there is in certain communities, like if you're a white passing Latina or something like that, you get treated differently by people than you are if you're more indigenous looking or that kind of thing. And how that is kind of a big thing where there's prejudice still, but I don't think that's where they're going with it. But maybe they'll surprise me. I don't know.
I mean, it's a 5 issue limited series, and
Yeah.
I look forward to like checking it out. Just like even if it's like the oddball comic factor,
Mm-hmm.
just to, like it's something that goes down in history. It's like New Warriors, which
Yeah.
became the most hated thing on the internet for an entire day,
Yeah.
and like united everyone away from coronavirus and all that crazy cootiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you see, I guess that's the kind of stuff that I collect is like it's mostly with movies. Really, is any movie that somebody says like, "Oh God, this is just outrageous. This is horrible." I'm like, yeah, I gotta see it, and I've got to own it. Like I think Caligula is in my collection because of that. Um, Irreversible, which is a French film by Gaspar Noé. Have you ever seen that one? It basically
I
just
have not, and I've
it's
only heard about Caligula in passing.
yeah, it is a porn with very beautiful lavage sets,
Yeah,
and yeah, and that's really the extent of what it is. But Helen Mirren's in it, and Malcolm McDowell, so they got some big names. And
yeah. I mean, I've heard of the casting that's out and about and for it, but yeah, I might give Caligula a watch one of these days.
yeah, it's a slog. I have to say, it's a slog to get through. It is. I mean, unless like you're actually watching it for the purposes of like titillation, but it's so I don't know. It it misses the mark as a porn, and it misses the mark as a historical drama. So, but
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
And it's amazing how many adult films actually do hit the mark for historical
Mm-hmm.
dramas. It's
Yeah.
weird how things have come of age.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a wrong play on words.
So, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's so I probably will snatch up New Warriors just like I snatch up any movie that I just hear terrible things about. If it's terrible, I have to experience it for myself. If someone says
Like
this
cat
tastes
butts.
cat butts, yeah. Um,
Yep,
yes, he's
I've heard about
talking.
I've heard about the infamous cut.
Yes, he's talking about that. I'm a big fan of musical theater, so I want to see Cats, but I didn't want to see it in the theater because I figured people were going to be rowdy and like
You mean what people would be there? Yeah, because I mean
Yeah.
the only kind of people that would be there for it were people under the influence of something, or
Yes.
people who lost a bet.
Yeah, pretty much. And
Because
so
I mean, I am a very big Andrew Lloyd Webber fan. I've actually
yeah.
seen every single one of his plays live. My
Oh wow.
favorite being Starlight Express.
Oh, very nice. Very
Right.
nice.
Saw
Very
that in
cool.
Las Vegas when I was a kid. It was amazing. When your good nights have been said and you are lying in bed with the covers pulled up tight. Although you count every sheep, you get the feeling that sleep is gonna stay away tonight. That's when you hear the humming. That's when you hear it coming. Oh, the midnight train, here again. Can't explain that midnight train, that midnight train. Starlight Express, answer me yes. Are you real? Yes or no? Starlight Express, you must confess, I don't want you to go.
Very nice. Excellent.
Starlight Express doesn't get enough love as compared to like Cats or Phantom of the Opera, but it's like it's my jam. It's my
Yeah,
jam.
yeah, it's good. Actually, we had seen Son of the Phantom, which is another one of those plays that gets kind of like sassed a lot.
Well, it was about the Son of the Phantom.
What?
It's titled something differently.
It's title anyway. It's Son of
Yeah,
the Phantom.
well, pretty
But
much.
yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, so I do think that it's a little sad that the Phantom is still obsessed with Christine after that amount of time. But yeah,
Mhm.
but so tell us a little bit about what's going on in Matt's world right now.
Well, you know, last month I did up a wonderful event
Mm-hmm.
called San Diego Comicfest, which you might
Yes,
recall,
yes.
which happened to be like the last event that went down before everything went down. And you know, it's I wanted San Diego Comic Fest to be the convention to end all conventions, but this is
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, it's like people were saying to me, Matt, it was such a wonderful time. I had such a great time. Comic Fest was so cool. But when you're the year's best convention by default, it's like,
Mm.
it sucks. I wanted to earn it, but we had a wonderful time, and you know, I want to start planning for the next one, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, when everything's under quarantine and nobody's in a mood for conventions, it's just like it just kind of sucks. It just
Yeah.
I want people to be in a convention mood. I should have been at WonderCon this week, and having to see all these shows get postponed or canceled, and then you hear stuff about the comic industry, like stores are shutting their doors, and the distributor networks are stopping or doing other ways around. It does make things feel iffy, and I guess we're all in this boat, and it's just been an adjustment.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's heartbreaking. I mean, like a lot of people wait the whole year for these conventions, and that's their time when they get to interact with people who really love the things they talk about on the internet, but they're talking face to face with these people. And it's so sad to see these conventions shut down. You get to meet so many artists. You get to meet so many people who just care about what you care about.
Yeah, and it's I'm happy that Comic Fest did go off
Mm-hmm.
when it did without a hitch. I mean, we only had some small hitch, which was just like right the day before Comic Fest dropped. But our guest of honor, J. Michael Straczynski, who happens to be my favorite writer, kind of just felt that, for his safety, he just wanted to, cancel his appearance because he has had, understandably, he's had walking pneumonia, he's had repeated bronchitis, he's had lung infections, and he's, in his mid-60s, so he is considered high risk.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bummer that he had to bail, but, understandably for his, for his health. And, some people were, concerned about COVID, the thing, but we bumped elbows. Some people would give Spocks or whatnot. You weren't forced to hug or handshake or that sort of thing. Fortunately, even my dad came around. He spent 30 years as the medical director of the city of San Diego, reassuring people it's like, this is not a high foot traffic area. Yeah. There have been no outbreaks or anything. And pretty much for the most part, we were very lucky because San Diego did not see its first case of COVID till 3 days after Comicfest, and only one person ended up getting sick, my friend Jan, but it turned out it was just regular flu. She said, she was starting to feel a little iffy, and then on the way back, when she got back to her home, she got tested 2 days later. It's like, I just came down with regular con crud, not COVID or anything. So it's like there were no actual sicknesses or anything coming from people that were going down. But, it's just, it was such a fun event. Of course, I was stressed out the entire time because I'm trying to make things work, go through this, put out the fires left and right, and trying to solve every problem to make sure that things go off. But people had such a wonderful time. But it's just, I wish they could relish in that joy. Mm-hmm. But then, 2 or 3 days later is when the governor's saying, it's like, all right, everyone stay inside, got to do this. And, the next casualty that came out was Emerald City, because Seattle, which had been afflicted, they said, better safe than sorry. Mm-hmm. And then, WonderCon, has, to reschedule. And so now it's just, a bummer that we're all just homebodies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm trying to increase the podcasting that I do so I have more opportunities where people can talk. Because for me, I'm used to solitude. It doesn't bother me, but then I feel like that puts me in a position where I should open myself up to other people so that other people who are hurting and other people who are feeling badly about this have an opportunity to talk and just, express themselves and, get out there and socialize like they want to. So.
Yeah, it does inevitably become a bummer, but, I try as best I can to hold things together, to keep, a positive attitude, to, walk outside, get a breath of fresh air when I can, but I do bring my mask.
Yeah.
And just to make sure. Fortunately, I have one of those medical grade ones, and my beard isn't so big that it obstructs the flow, and I can still get a good vacuum seal on. Fortunately, I have a narrow, pointy face. Some people with bigger heads than me, they do have that problem. They can't get the mask on, but I have a narrow face because I was a premature baby. Oh. You can always tell preemies by narrow face. Fully developed people have rounder heads.
You were a preemie, weren't you? Well, I guess you're immortal, so yeah.
Yeah.
But so you born before time, so premature in a way. But
yeah. And just like I do like to tell people, if some people are wearing gas masks, and so if you're worried about them fitting right with facial hair, there actually was a soldier during World War I who was an officer and actually was instructed to shave off his mustache, and said, but the proud symbolism for the German nation is a big mustache. He said, too bad you're an officer, you got to wear a mask, you got to shave it. He's like, okay, too much? No, doesn't fit. How about now? No, okay, a little more. And that young man's name was Adolf Hitler.
Oh dear.
Who shaved off his mustache, and that's why Hitler wore that mustache.
Yeah.
Hitler shaved off his mustache just enough to fit a gas mask over it. That's a fun little World War I story.
Wow. Very interesting. So.
Of course, I can't share that story on Facebook anymore because, they'll for worry that they'll hit me with another hate speech thing again.
Oh, jeez. I know I saw the first time that happened, or I thought it was the first time that you said men are
scum.
Yes, and I didn't know if we could repeat that or not. So, see, I think I can say it. I think if I say it, people are like, "Yeah, girl." But I think if you say it, then people...
But it's against my own demographic, and
So, But yeah, I don't know, it's odd, but
Yeah, another thing is like you'll get flagged for hate speech if you hit the if you show the cover of Captain America #1
hmm.
because it has swastikas on it. Doesn't matter if it's
Oh,
him punching Hitler, it's still you get flagged for hate speech.
yeah,
I,
actually.
I know. I got another friend who actually got flagged for showing a picture of Osama bin Laden on some kind of historical documentary, and he got suspended for 2 weeks for promoting terrorism.
Oh, wow. I've heard apparently there's a number 1488 that white supremacists, I think it's that number, I'm not positive, I don't want to look it up, but white supremacists use it to connect with one another. So YouTube just now, anything 1418, 1411, they don't want to mess with it, so they just will demonetize and ban your video. And so it's a little nerve wracking because, like, what if you don't know anything about that and you're just entering a year, you're putting up a historical piece, and so anything within that time period, you just can't do.
Yep.
So.
And then, of course, there have been the conspiracy theory wackos that I've been seeing.
Yes.
They all like it's like there's just one that was just posting on a thing right now. The government just put up 5G and it gave us all coronavirus. I'm like, didn't you say that bats gave you coronavirus yesterday and then the day before was the Chinese? It's like these conspiracy theory people will just latch onto anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is a coronavirus.
Yes.
It's got little coronas. Corona is the Latin term for crown.
Yes.
This little crown can twist and pull and go and like do things, so it's highly adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
It's highly adaptable. You seem to be misunderstanding that billions of years of evolution that these these little microbes are capable of getting inside your body. And of course, once they do, they're like, "Hey, look, mucous membranes. I can replicate myself through this by giving people snot noses. Oh, even better, I can go to the back of their throat and irritate them and cause coughing and cause it to spew out 100 miles per hour. I can cause them to sneeze. Guess what? These microbes are very adaptable and they're good at getting inside mucous membranes to recreate themselves. That's what they do.
Yeah, yeah. That's their life cycle. They need to do that. They need to be good at it. It's
like people misunderstand parasites. It's like not everything was made in a lab, and not everything was done by just bat soup or whatever. But like, or giving somehow like 5G Wi-Fi radio waves are giving us coronavirus. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but I used to work for a podcast that did a lot of conspiracy theory stuff, and my take on it is there are people looking to find rationality in an irrational world. So they need
therefore
to
it has to make sense.
Yeah, if I'm not successful, there has to be somebody who's holding me back. It's not just bad luck or I didn't have the right opportunities or any. It's somebody is oppressing me, somebody is holding me down, somebody is intentionally making this happen, and it's not always the case. But it seems easier if it was, because then there's somebody you could find and target and fix this problem. But
or the brush fires last year when people the stupidest conspiracy theory I was seeing there is like, notice how the brush fires are all in one uniform place along where the California high rail speed is going. That means because like Lockheed Martin is using their super laser to cause the fires and burn up everything to make it like so the rail goes away. And it's like, you do realize that these have been naturally occurring fires that happen the same time every single year, like since history. That's just how Santa Ana's worked. Like, you're one of the non-believers. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's like, why would you pay for a multi-billion-dollar super laser when you can just go down there with a lighter and be like that? It doesn't seem like a good investment.
Yeah. But you must be shilling for somebody, Matt. You're spreading disinformation. That's what you're doing. So
I know, disinformation.
Yeah. So, yeah.
My life in fake news.
Lots of fake news. But that's what that's America is all about fake news. The American Revolution was essentially started based on fake news. So, but we had, smugglers who wanted to make a profit and didn't want to have to compete with the legal goods that were coming in. So they started lots of smear campaigns, and I could go into it and then I'll bore everybody.
Okay, good.
So, I'm sorry.
Plug in. Stupid
sorry.
laptop. Just needed my laptop didn't run out of power. Anyway, so with all that said and done, it's like I'm mainly spending my days just making Simpsons jokes about everything
Yes.
because Sprinkiac has become my savior,
Very nice.
and I don't know how I would live without Simpsons quotes because all work and no play make Homer something something.
Yes. Very nice. It is a good series. It's really kind of touched on everything, hasn't it? It's
Yep, because I can just make a Simpsons reference for anything.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I kind of wonder where the age cutoff is because at some point Simpsons, I guess, stopped being hip, and like, is there an age cutoff where like certain references on The Simpsons won't carry over? Like they retconned how Homer and Marge got married. Their
Well,
whole
guess what? They retcon everything. The thing is, The
yeah.
Simpsons is the perfect storytelling world because you
Oh,
can
absolutely.
tell any kind of story, and you can tell any story over again that can errata any kind of story, and it still works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that The Simpsons makes fun of this to the nth degree, saying it's like, oh, well, you look just like Snowball too, so I'm just going to call you Snowball, and nobody's going to, and then Principal Skinner walks by. Lisa, don't you think that's a cop out and insulting to the world? And it's like, well, I could say the same of you, Principal Tamzarian.
Right. Yes. Armin Tanzarian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, but of course, whatever. It's the world resets itself when the day is done.
True. True. Very nice. So, very exciting. But all right. So I notice you have your MC Chris shirt on. That's very nice. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
my MC Chris with my Lexa Bitch and I'm her pimp, like vintage 2001 shirt, which
Yeah.
I bought the online store for the back in the day, and I realized I bought a large, and I was a skinny kid, so I could never wear it. Now it's like I'm a bigger guy now, so I can wear it,
Just filled
and
out.
like, and I filled out because I got thick, and now people are like, oh my god, it's like you have like a Mandalorian shirt. That's not the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian doesn't have the little thing up here. Boba Fett does. It's like,
Yeah.
and Boba Fett is the real Mandalorian. He kind of just wears the, it's like, but it's just,
Right. Right.
just going into more nerd cred stuff.
Yes. Yes. The nerd area. But yeah. No. I have fond memories of MC Chris and the Adult Swim during that era. I haven't really been keeping up with Adult Swim recently, which is
Yeah, neither have I. It's like,
yeah.
but I'm an OG Adult Swim kind of
Mhm.
guy. It's, just C Lab, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Brack Show, Tom Goes the Mayor.
Oh God. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so. I mean, it's like the only Adult Swim stuff I really kept up with is just the Tim and Eric stuff, and now just Tim and Eric have their new show Beef House, which I've been very very entertained by, and I'm happy to see my good pal Ron Oster still has a role on the show, and so I'm just happy to see Ron come so far from his humble origins on those Tim and Eric episodes back in the day, and so it's like,
yeah. That's we actually went to the first Tim and Eric Awesome Con, which was held behind Comic Con at the time.
I was even there the year before at Comic Con in 2006 when I won first place in the trivia contest, and Tim and Eric actually had to stop calling on me because I had answered like 30 questions in a row right and was crowned the world's biggest Tom Goes the Mayor fan. And then, but Comic Con was a whole lot of fun too. It's like I dressed as a b-boy and I just like had a blast out there, and they made sandwiches for everyone. That was so cool.
That was really cool. Yeah, the bologna sandwiches. But yeah, it was. I went with Margot, who is actually on the show every now and then. Right, Scratch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that was pretty cool. But it was and I'm really into bedtime stories. That's I haven't caught in Beef House yet. It's hard.
I haven't seen bedtime stories.
Oh,
like
yeah?
it's just like there's select Tim and Eric works. It's like I'm such a huge fan, but there's still Tim and Eric stuff that I haven't done. I haven't seen Check It Out with Steve Brule. I haven't seen On Cinema, and I haven't seen their Jash stuff. It's like I'm happy to see that they have such a diverse offering of stuff, but I haven't seen it all yet.
Yeah, I like that. In fact, the animation that I do at the beginning of the You Mind, I don't know if you've ever watched it on YouTube, was pretty much inspired by the whole Tom Goes to the Mayor animatics, where it's just like the really rough, So, and that's all the animations that I do on the show. Like I'm kind of hearkening back to that. That was my
big inspiration in that.
Yeah,
But,
Tim and Eric did a live show about 2 months ago, and I bought the worst seats in the house last
oh,
second with my buddy Charlie. And then as Tim and Eric are coming out, they see us in the last row, and they're like, "What are you guys doing in the last row?" And they bring us up and they sit us front row center for the show,
aw.
which was like really that was really cool of Tim to do that. And during this stage, it's like because if you've ever been to a Tim and Eric live show, you know that if you are sitting splash zone, you are getting messed up.
Mm.
And so I was sitting front row center, and then of course Tim brings me up on stage for this cooking segment where he straps this bowl to my head and then pours like garlic salt and like spaghetti sauce on me and like shakes me all around and like pours like mustard all of me from the Pittsman's mustard guy who pulls out his fake mustard wiener and like pees all over me with mustard, and it's just another unforgettable night. And I'm happy to say that's not the only time I've been pulled up on stage for a Tim and Eric show. I was at in summer 2007 at the Troubadour. They pulled me up on stage, and I got chewed up hot dogs thrown at me by Casey and his brother, and it was just a wonderful night.
Oh, that's awesome. So very cool. See, that's what's so great about cons is if they come back, then yeah, that you get to have experiences like that. And Tim and Eric are two people who are just very like they want to meet the people who love them and care about their work, and they're very easy to approach, and yeah,
And they're very nice and they're really cool. And so, like, at the show, like, they hung out with the fans afterwards. And then John C. Reilly made a cameo appearance.
Oh,
And so
wow.
he was there hanging out with the fans, too. It's like just, seeing him, restore back in his role as Dr. Steve Brule. It's just always just such a great time to say.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. So, goodness. Now, when cons do come back, if they do, what do you think are going to be changes that are going to be implemented after this whole affair?
The whole thing is the question on everybody's mind is San Diego Comic-Con going to go around?
Right.
And am hoping because San Diego Comic-Con is my bread and butter. It's my life force. It's the end all be all event for cons. It's the event that inspires me and everyone else. And so it is that centerpiece for the convention world. And not only just for comic conventions and the industry as a whole, but it's like such a big economic boost for the city of San Diego. People want to come out for this. People want to have fun and they want to have this great time. And it's just like I don't want to see that deprived for anyone. It's just because like when this was all starting off, like the first thing that went down is like I was looking forward like the week after Comicfest they were doing some events at the Comic-Con Museum, and they're like, oh, we have to push these back due to population concerns, because this is the point where like they were advising no more than 50 people to events, and then of course it got taken down to 10, and then it got just like no, and now you just got to stay inside. And so when events that are reliant on attendance can't go off, it just sucks. And it's just like I'm just hoping that by the end of the month the curve flattens down. It changes. I think hopefully people come at this a little more hygienic, washing their hands, keeping themselves clean, fighting the con crud, being respectful of cooties and whatnot. So it's just like I think if anything it could make the world a cleaner place. Trust me, I'm doing the whole thing of like my dry cracked hands these days, and so I try to moisturize after every single one. I wasn't a moisturizing person before. It's like, wow, I'm washing my hands so much that they are getting like super scaly. But so I hope that by summer everything can go back to normal, that we can get back in our comic stores, that we can start seeing big events again, and I hope that everything bounces back. And I'm just trying to be optimistic and hopeful in doing that, because I know that a lot of stores out there, a lot of businesses, they are hurting, and I just want to geek out with comics at my friends. I just want to go back to the store, and I just want to like enjoy things. It's like I'm getting caught up on my reading list. It's like, no, I should have a huge stack that I could never get caught up on. That's my goal.
Yeah, and I saw that you also donated comics.
Yes.
Yes. So, where is that comic station if people want to try and go find it?
That's over on the 9500 block of Mariposa on in La Mesa. So yeah, it's on Mariposa Street. My friend Jason Bell just set up this comic donation stand where people can give comics and pick up comics for now. Although may want to wait a little bit because some of those little free libraries that are up around town, it's just they have some. We're not accepting books right now due to COVID concerns, and so it's like when things die down and the cooties go away, it's like it would be a great place to grab some free books or whatnot. And it sucks because like right before COVID went down, I actually did pick up a big set of books that's just sitting in my trunk that I was going to donate to local libraries, but all the libraries are closed now. So it's like, I mean, I'm I'll take the hit of things to just avoid the concerns for the COVID, and like I'll keep the books in my trunk until things die down and where I can donate them to local libraries, because otherwise they would just end up in a dumpster. And just like to quote Henry Jones Sr., it's like people should be reading books instead of burning them.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's changing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because I am very big on the local libraries. I am very big on getting people reading, on literacy, on comic books, and places where you can create and cultivate talent, and cultivate imagination. So places like Little Fish Comic Book Studio, where you can learn how to draw and write and all this stuff. They're like your local libraries, especially the Chula Vista Public Library that has such a wonderful comic selection. It actually does have curators that focus toward the comic area of things. That is what I really do love to see, and so I don't want to see any of that go away, and it sucks. It's like, but I just see it as we're taking a little hiatus. We'll be back.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I know as an artist that I've definitely dropped my prices and stuff like that. I'm surprised people are still interested in buying art, but I guess people want to be entertained. They want beautiful things to look at. So.
And the thing is, can you imagine how screwed we would be right now without the arts? Without comics to read, without books to read, without television, without animation, without the art world. Like, it's just the whole thing of like, people saying it's like, I don't care about stuff that isn't sports. Well, guess what? You're stuck inside now. The arts are saving you from going crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, it's one of those things that people just kind of see as like, it's always there, it's always extraneously present, and you just expect it to be there. But there's people who are making it, and there's people who, need support, and at least need acknowledgement, if nothing else. So, but yeah, that's very cool. Okay.
Just keep the dream alive, and I'll, when things can get all set in stone, I would be happy to start planning for another San Diego Comicfest. We haven't even picked the theme yet. It's
dear.
Yeah, what are we going to celebrate next year? That's just been the thing on my mind, but it's like, my mind is just going crazy. It's just going one way and around and the other. So, but it's a COVID world.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know, but I'm sure that you'll come up with a theme that will excite and delight all of us. So
I know. I just want to give a better convention experience every single time. So that's just really what I love to do.
Yeah, and I think that the what did you say?
Cat butts.
No, we're not. That's not a theme. So
it could be.
It could be, but I think you'd get a very select audience that would come through, and but that's good. But yeah, so okay, well, thank you, Matt. Where can we find you if we want to geek out with you and enjoy your presence without physically making contact with you?
As per tradition, just find me at Matt Dunford on Facebook, Matt Dunford on Instagram. There'll be a lot of Simpsons jokes and stuff that I'm throwing up right now to try to maintain my sanity, which actually shows my deep level of insanity. But just find me around. I'm easy to get at.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you for talking to us today, Matt. And it was a pleasure having you, as always.
Special thanks to the illustrious Matt Dunford. Yes, Matt Dunford. Everybody knows him and everybody loves him, and you can find him on Instagram at Matt Dunford, then on Facebook at Matt Dunford, and on Twitter at Matt Dunford. Isn't that easy? Why not follow? It would be silly not to. Thank you so much to Savage C. Walnar, our legendary announcer who we could not do the show without, and Ethan Meixsell, composer of the You Mind theme song, Demilitarized Zone. Mwah! Love it. Then you can go to patreon.com/lucidnap if you want to help support the show, or buymeacoffee.com/lucidnap, or lostbreadcomic.com where you can buy my comics and art. And any of those will help. And you can also follow us. You don't have to pay anything. You just jump on those links in the description box below, and you can just follow along with everything we do. I'm going to try and post more often. I've been bad about that lately. Yeah, you know what you should check out is Creeping Wave Radio. We are trying to do some recording on that right now for our upcoming season in October. I actually just recorded with Matt Dunford the other night. He's going to be playing a character in it, and we've got so many local San Diego bands, so many local San Diego actors and talent. You're just going to love it. It's a scripted audio drama. It's really fun. Takes place in the Lost Bread, You Mind, Creeping Wave universe. It's a lot of laughs. So thank you for watching or listening or whatever your bag is. And you know what? Thank you so much to our extra special, lovable, cuddly, snuggly, regal patrons, The Grammarica Show, Nikki Benfield, and Neil. Because you make this happen, you're the life's blood, you're the pulse, you're the heartbeat, and we love you. Thank you so much, guys. Creeping Wave is brought to you by Lucid Nap Productions in cooperation with the hairy old man. I had to groom him the other night, and I'm not sure I'm willing to talk about it any more than that.
Mystery, suspense, action, adventure? What are you in the mood for? We have that. A Glint of Mischief is a weekly podcast where we read the first chapter of an indie published book. So sit back and let us help you find your next favorite book. Stop by glintofmischief.com to see what all we have done, or check us out on iTunes or Google Play to just dive in and enjoy. Until next time, see you around.
This has been a presentation of the Project Entertainment Network.